Hi guys, welcome to another Yoga Fit session. Today's Yoga Fit is going to be just some different postures, some different exercises that you can try that are all body weight focused. So what this means is it's really simple. You don't need any equipment, but also you can ramp it up or take it down. So dependent on where you're at with your fitness and also maybe throughout the week you've been doing other exercises, maybe you're a little achy, or you need something that's a little bit more juicy, you can kind of ramp it up or take it down according to how you feel this week and for this workout. So it's all going to be body weight exercises. It's also going to be really, really quick. So it's just going to be me talking you through some of those exercises, showing you them, and then giving you options to do a few more repetitions if you want. So you don't need anything, just yourself. But what I am going to encourage you to do is a little bit of a warm up before you get started. So maybe pause the video for this moment and just go and do some running on the spot, little foot kicks to the bottom, maybe some star jumps, whatever it is that's going to create a bit of warmth in the body, and then let's get started. Okay, so all the movements are going to be quite yoga inspired. So the first movement that we're going to do, we're going to be focusing on the lower body. So we are going to be doing a chair pose based exercise. So chair pose, you've probably done it 100 times before, but with chair pose you can have the feet wide or you can have them narrow. It's kind of up to you. But the main thing is I'm going to start with wide feet. The main thing is checking that the knees are tracking over the feet, so they're both tracking the same direction. So if they're a little wider, you might want to turn the feet out a little bit. And also really important that you draw the belly in and that you send your bottom back as if you're about to sit on a chair. So let's do it together. You could maybe start with clasping the hands in front of you. Sit back as if you're going to sit on that imaginary chair. Take a bend in the knees and really press the toes down, so press them into the ground. You'll feel that when you have them lifted and when you have them pressed down, it changes how you feel the strength in the glutes and the thighs. So press the toes down and then squeeze and lift back up. So from there, you've got a few options that you could incorporate. So you could literally just do some little up and down movements here. If that feels good and enough, stick with that. Keep those repetitions. If you want something a little bit more juicy, you could pause at the bottom and hold, and then lift up. Or you could pause and do some little pulses and lift up. And another way to increase it would be to do any of those with the arms raised. So whether that's individual pulses, pausing at the bottom, or little pulses at the bottom. So the next one I'm going to show you is again another yoga inspired movement, but also incorporating the lower body again. So we're going to do a stance of a warrior one, but turn it into more of a lunge. So right foot forward, left foot back, hips in the same direction. And what I want you to do is take a slightly wider stance and lift the back heel up, so you're just on the ball of your foot. From here, you can have hands on the hips. Again, draw the belly in, ribs down. And what we can do from here is turn it into a lunge. So again, you could just hold the lunge. You could go low or high. Again, press the toes into the ground. There's a bit of a degree of balance as well. Or we can actually make a movement with this and do some little dips. So lowering down to the ground. Again, you can add a degree of difficulty by raising the arms above and either pausing, high, low, pulses, or pulses at the bottom. Let's swap over. So again, hips facing forwards, left knee's in front this time, bending that left knee, back right foot is lifted. So whether that be pausing, hands down or up, a low pause, hands up or down, whether that's pulses, going up and down, hands up or hands down, or whether it's little pulses at the bottom, again, hands up or hands down. So find what works for you. Maybe pause the video for a moment and do maybe 5 repetitions on each leg. You could increase it, you could decrease it. Work with what is working for you today. So now let's go to the upper body. So we're going to go to sort of the arms and the shoulders and the back. Also uses the belly muscles as well. So come down onto the ground. So a couple of different exercises that you can explore here. Let's start with the one that focuses a lot on the upper body first of all. So you're going to come into almost like a plank on your knees. Hand positioning, you want your fingers nice and wide. Elbows are facing forwards. That might mean trying to send the index finger so that that's facing forwards. Because as you turn the hands around, the elbows, sort of the inner elbow comes round as well. So you want that inner elbow facing forward. What that's going to allow the body to do is when you bend the elbows can go back as opposed to out. So this is our positioning for our chaturanga. So we're going to do some little sort of press ups with chaturanga arms. So we're just going to lower down, but we're going to leave a little bit of distance between the ground and our body. So as you lower, you're going to take your body weight forward. Now, if that means you want to have the toes tucked under so you can bring the weight forwards, then do that. If not, untuck the toes. Send the body weight forwards over the sort of elbows. You're going to lower, but squeeze the elbows in towards the body. And then press back up. Now, pause for a moment. I'm under no illusion that that is easy. It's tough, I can feel it. So you might want to do just a couple of repetitions of this and just work with it and see what works. Do you need to take little pauses in between each one? Can you do a few repetitions together, pause and then do a few more? So work with it, but make sure that that positioning is really strong. So draw the belly into the spine. You're going to take the body weight forward, check that the elbows, the inner parts of the elbows are facing forwards, and then squeeze the elbows in towards the body as you lower. Press through the hands, come back up. So you could do a few repetitions, and it is super tough, this one. So make sure you keep breathing in between each repetition. So the last movement is focusing on your tummy, your stomach muscles. So we're actually going to come into a little bit of boat. Now, boat is not a particularly easy posture either, much like the chaturanga that we did on our knees just then. So just work with it, and really important that your posture, that your foundations are really strong and done correctly versus being able to do the move more aggressively or go further into the posture. Really, really important that you're working out in a way that's going to support good posture, good muscle strength, and just healthy exercise ultimately. So you'll see I've got a bend in the knees, feet are planted down on the ground, and the first thing I want to do is I want to straighten my posture in my back. So send the chest forwards and sit up nice and tall. So a couple of variations for boat. So first variation of boat is you can actually take hold of the knees and just keeping that length in the torso, send the back towards the ground a little, but keeping that tallness in the torso. Chin tucked in slightly, just so you're not allowing the head to go back and overstretch. So this, with belly drawn into the spine, ribs are down, might be enough. If you feel like you could take the challenge to the next level, You could come up onto the toes. And you might find you want to lean back a tiny bit more. The next version will be to take the hands away and extend them to the sides. But whatever you do, pause in between, take some little breaks, little breather, breathe whilst you're doing it, but just make sure that you maintain that nice tall torso. So some other things that you can do now, if that was enough, go back into that position, find your position that works, and while I'm talking through the next stages, just continue to pause and hold, take some little breaks in between. If you want to take it a little further, the next progression would be to actually start lifting the feet up. And what you can do is little toe taps. So I'm literally lifting one foot, lowering, and lifting the other side. If you were just practicing that, pause, take a breather, come back in. And then you can progress that a little bit further, or you can just stick with that. If you want to take it to the next stage, lift the feet off the ground and you could literally just touch the toes down momentarily. But make sure you haven't rounded out through the spine, you've still got that nice tall torso. The belly's still drawn in towards the spine, and you'll feel some little shakes coming into the body. You can also do a static hold, so you can pause and just hold there. So whether that's toes on the ground or toes lifted together, you can pause and hold. Just make sure again you're not rounding out through the back, you're keeping that nice tall torso. So maybe give some of those a little try and see what works good for your boat pose. So lastly, just a few stretches that you can do to stretch out after those exercises. So firstly, for the legs, something that you can do is come onto the knees, step the leg forwards, and actually just lean in and lean back, and just stretch out through the legs after those chairs and warrior ones or squats and lunges. Obviously swap onto the other side, and again. Now if that's too intense, hold on to something, and again you can create that movement. It doesn't have to be a windowsill, it could be a chair, a stool, it could be something slightly lower down, so that you've got that balance with that. For the shoulders, for upper body, come onto all fours, and you can help to stretch out the shoulders by feeding the arms underneath. So my right arm's coming under my left arm coming away, pause and hold. You can then do it on the other side. And again, pause and hold, breathe. Just make sure when you go through that pose that you'll still have your belly drawn in, and that you're not just allowing it to flop down towards the ground. For the core and for the belly area, your tummy muscles, and also for your back as well, that would have been incorporated quite a lot in all of those poses, from chaturanga to sitting in boat pose, and also sort of stretching out through the front body. Come onto your chest and your belly, and you can come onto your forearms and take a little cobra pose. And you can pause here, and this just helps to stretch out through the front of the body and into the back as well. Another thing you can do is come onto the arms, so take the arms, frame them in front of you, lower the head down, or you can stay lifted, and you can actually just rock the hips from side to side. That feels really, really nice. And then lastly, if you come up onto all fours, you can also stretch the front and back body through some cat-cows. So your cat-cows, as a reminder, come onto all fours, you take a breath in, you look forwards, lower the belly, but keep tone in the belly. So you're creating more of an arch through the back as opposed to just dropping the belly. As you breathe out, you round out through the back and you look down. And you can create some really nice big movements through that cat-cow. You can also do it seated. So if it feels better to be seated, maybe you've gone straight into this stretch after your boat pose, you can actually do the same cat-cow motion seated. So a couple of stretches to help stretch out after those body weight exercises. So thank you so much for joining me for this Yoga Fit session using body weight exercises that are inspired by yoga postures. I hope it's helpful. Like I said, make sure you warm up before, you stretch out afterwards, have lots of breath work throughout the session and before and after. Really, really important to get your breath work right. And just enjoy it, enjoy customizing it and making your own. You might need to pause in the video and actually decide what you want to do a few more of or a few less of, and you can tailor it to create a workout that is suitable for you and what your body needs. So thank you for joining me again. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.